Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about what we are going to about. In this video, we are going to talk about monetary policy. How does it work? What are the main cause of that? What are the main cause of it? My problem got solved, so I'm recording this video around 11 p.m. in noon. Usually I record usually I record video in afternoon itself. But what can we do? What can we do for that? What can we do for that? I am recording this video in noon itself. Just just vote. Just what in order to do? In order to do what? In order to what? In order to what? In order to move with the path. As you can see, there is a different type of question out there. We are going to discuss for that. I am not thinking too much about this topic that much because it's sleeping time itself. But what can we do? I'm just going to record this video for 15 minutes. That's the whole goal of the. That's the whole goal of the without talking about too much about the topic. Okay, do you get it what I want to say? So let's jump to the topic. What's the monetary policy? Monetary policy is a set of measures and action taken by the country central bank or a monetary authority to control, influence the money supply, interest rate, inflation, and overall economic stability. The primary goal of the monetary policy is to achieve and maintain price stability, which typically means keeping inflation at target level. However, central bank often have secondary objects such as promoting full employment and fostering economic growth. Okay, through this we get to know about what is monetary policy. What is monetary policy? What is monetary policy? What is monetary policy? Monetary policy is a set of measures. It's one of the biggest problem of what mankind. Downfall. We can show any downfall, but here downfall cannot be. Monetary policy is a set of measures and actions taken by governments, country central bank or monetary authority to control and influence the money supply. Monetary policy is a set of measures and actions taken by country central bank or monetary authority to control and influence the monetary supply and interest rate, inflation, and overall economic stability. Yeah, I can show that. The primary goal of the monetary policy is to achieve and maintain the price stability, which typically means keeping inflation at target level. However, central bank often have secondary objects such as promoting fluent. As you got to know about that, it is usually maintained or action taken by the in the monetary policy action taken by central bank on the monetary authority to control the inflation and money supply. In the fiscal policy, have discovered about the fixed capitalized policy. In this monetary policy, the action or measures taken by the central bank. There's in the most of the country there is a central bank that regulate the price flow or other bank working process. In the monetary policy is set of measure and action taken by country central bank or money authority to control and influence the money supply, interest rate, inflation, overall economic stability. The primary goal of the monetary policy is to achieve, as you can say that, to achieve and maintain price stability. Through the primary goal we can achieve price stability, which typically means keeping inflation at target level. Through that we usually keep inflation at target. However, central bank often have secondary objectives such as promoting full employment, fostering economic growth. So that monetary policy we get to know about that. Okay, now let's move the some of the points that we are going to discuss. There are point 10 point about the definition or other things. Central bank authority. Monetary policy is implemented by country central banks such as Federal Reserve in the United States, the European Central Bank in the Eurozone, and a Bank of Japan. Yeah, this is a Reserve Bank of India. These institutions have a significant degree of independence from political influence to make decisions in the best interest of the economy. Okay. Monetary policy is implemented by the country's central bank such as Federal Reserve in the United States, the European Central Bank in the Eurozone, and Bank of Japan in Japan. Tools of the monetary policy: interest rate, open market, reserve requirement, forward guidance. Central bank has influenced short-term interest rate by adjusting their policy interest rate, the federal fund rate. Lowering rate stimulate borrowing and spending, while rising rate reduce borrowing and spending. expanding to control inflation. Open market operations. Central bank buy and sell government securities in the more market to increase and decrease the money. Affecting interest rate. Reserve requirements. Central bank can moderate, mandate, and commercialize bank to hold certain percentage of the deposit as a reserve. Adjusting their requirement can influence the amount of money bank lend out. Forward guidance. Central bank use communication to signal their future policy intention, influence expectation of market behavior. Inflation targeting. Many central banks have adopted inflation targeting as a key objective. They aim to keep inflation within a specific target, often around 2%, maintain price stability. It's a main factor of they usually they it's a main factor of the central bank. They usually keep inflation price within their range. For employment, in addition to price stability, central bank often have a good goal of promoting full employment. They seek to balance inflation control by supporting job growth and economic activity. Monetary policy transmission. Changes in monetary policy affect the broader economy through various channels, including interest rate, exchange rate, asset price, and ultimately consumer and business spending. Independence. Central banks are often granted independence to make monetary policy decision free from political interference. The independent is entered to enhance credibility, reduce the risk of inflation, driven by the short-term political consideration. Macroprudential policy. Central bank may use macroprudential policy to address financial stability concerns such as regulation. Economics. Monetary policy decision in the country can spill power, affect the other economies. We are about to going to finish about 7 minutes in this video. More 7 minutes is left. When the day will come that why I am going to perpetuate fluent speaking English without thinking too much about it. I need to think about, bro. I just need to speak it out in my own phone. I'm at little face. Little what does it? Little. I just need to make it. So we are completed fifth point. On the sixth point, independence. Central bank are often granted independence to make the monetary policy decision free from the political interference. The independence is intended to enhance credibility and reduce the risk of inability driven by the short-term political consideration. Macroprudential policy. Central bank may use the macroprudential policy to address financial stability concerns such as regulation on lending practices or capital requirement for bank. Global implication. Monetary policy decision in one country can have a spill power effect in other economy, especially in the era of the global financial market. Exchange rate, capital flow, or trade can be influenced by the change of monetary policy. Unconventional monetary policy. During economic crisis, central bank may resort unconventional measures like quantitative easing or negative interest rate or simulate the economic when the traditional policy trade less effective. Evolution and accountability. Central banks are often evaluated the held accountable for policy decision and communicate their rationable action to public the policymaker through regular input and statement. Monetary policy, like an economic policy, has a potential problem benefit here regard on the key related issue. Problem inflation. If the central bank implement expansionary monetary policy for a longer too aggressively, it can lead to weak excessive inflation. Rapidly rising prices can erode and public purchasing power of money and disturb economic stability. Frequent changes in interest rate, especially when the unexpected, can introduce uncertainty and risk into market. This can be challenging and business individual to plan the future. Asset policy bubble. Low interest rate and quantitative easing measure can lead to the formation of the asset price bubble, such as real estate stock market. When this bubble bursts, income inequality, benefit, moral hazard. In income equality, expansionary monetary policy can sometime accelerate income equality when central bank lower interest rate, stimulate economic growth in boost can asset price, benefiting those who own the asset and leave the other bank. Moral hazard: if the bank or financial institution believe that the central bank will always bail them out in the crisis, they can the excessive risk and knowing them they can afford. Price stability: one of the primary goal of the monetary policy is to maintain the price stable by controlling inflation. Moderate inflation and generally seen as a sign of the healthy and growing economy. Economic growth. Economic growth. What does it mean? Adjusting interest rate, the more supply in central bank can stimulate the cool down the economic stability. Lowering interest rate and increasing borrowing and spending, which can be boost economic growth. For new employment, central bank has aimed to provide full employment, which is more fully is the level of economic. When economy is operating at a full capacity, more people has employed. Financial stability: during the time of the financial crisis, central bank are provide liquidity to financial market help to stabilize the monetary system and prevent widespread economic collapse. Flexibility: monetary policy allows central bank to respond quickly to the changing economic condition. This flexibility can be crucial in mitigating economic shocks and uncertainties. Economic change control: in some cases, central bank may use monetary policy to influence exchange rate, which can benefit export-oriented industry by making their goods and competitive on the global market. Predictability: central bank are often communicate their monetary policy intention and action clearly, providing one individual with degree of predictability in financial market. Okay, our 12 minutes has to be going to be complete. These are the some questions that we are going to discuss in last 3 minutes of this video. Okay, do you get it what I want to say? I'm saying just we are going to cover this leftover minute leftover. Can we say like last 3 minutes or like if they are not exact or figure approximately we can consider the what can we say leftover minute we are going to cover this point. It's also one of the good factor. What's a good factor? It is one of the good all the factor. What is the primary objective of the monetary policy and how does it affect differ from the fiscal policy? The primary objective of the monetary policy is often to achieve price stability and control inflation, which is primary focus on the government spending and taxation on inflation economic activity. Explore the concept of the dual mandate and central bank. How does the central bank balance the goal? Well, is the goal of price stability and full employment. The dual mandate typically refer to the central bank aiming to achieve both price stability and maximum sustainable employment. Central bank use various tools to strike balance between two objectives. How does change in policy interest rate affect the broader economy? Can provide example of how raising interest rate can import household and business. Changing lower policy interest rate influence borrowing cost of the consumer and business. Lower rate can stimulate borrowing and spending, which higher rate can reduce them. What are the difference between the conventional monetary policy, such as interest rate adjustment, and unconventional tool like quantitative easing? Conventional tool like involving adjusting interest rate, while unconventional tool like QE involves central bank purchasing financial asset to inject liquidity in the financial system. Okay, that's one of the goal. Question: how does the transaction mechanism of the monetary policy work? How can you describe the step through the which interest rate affect the inflation and economic growth? The transmission mechanism involves several steps, including change in banking leading to consumer and business spending, overall economic activity. Whether it does target is more policy. How does the central bank use inflation target to guide their policy decision? Inflation target involves central banks setting a specific inflation target. Example: you want monetary policy to keep actual inflation close to target. What challenges to central market to face in achieving these policy objectives during period of the economic crisis, such as global financial crisis 2008 and 9? During crisis, central bank may face contrast in the using traditional tools, leading them to implementation and conventional policy to stabilize financial market during support economic recovery. How do exchange rate factor in the monetary policy decision? Can you explain the how the strong and weak currency can impact the country economy? Exchange rate can influence the country trade balance and overall economic competitiveness. Central bank consider exchange rate effect when making monetary policy decision. What is the role of forward guidance in monetary policy communication? How does it help shape market expectation, influence the economic behavior? Forward guidance involve central bank providing information about their future policy intention, which can influence market expectation, interest rate, and investment decision. That's all for the video. Already about couldn't complete 15 minutes in this video. It's 12 11:15 and 11:15 p.m. in the what 11:15 p.m. Not in the noon. It should be evening. I am playing
I'm not pulling any random card for this. I'm just saying keep moving with your process, bro. Nobody going to help you out in order to. You are only one. If you moving with another path, you are only going to help you out. Nobody going to help out. That's all I'm saying. I'm not pulling any type of card here. That's all for the video. Around 15 minutes has already passed. See you again.